or the plot thickens. Okay?
Right?
Because there's so many types of boats that when you find one that really just hits your style, you have to stop. Welcome to another episode of the Southern Boating Podcast. I'm Ian Sneed.
I'm James Anderson.
And this is part 2 of our podcast version of the International Boat Builders article that we put out in our September issue, 2024. With that, remember to leave a comment. Let us know which vessels you liked from the last episode and how they compare to the vessels that we're going to be covering or the manufacturers that we're going to be covering in this episode.
Don't forget to thumbs up us.
Oh,
subscribe.
Yeah. Hit the like button right now. Watch the episode. And if you don't like it at the end, you could go ahead and take your like back. All right? Let's do that.
I'm cool with that.
I like that.
All right. So I'll kick it off. We're going to start with a brand that
a brand that you were so excited to talk about that you wanted to jump an episode. You wanted it to jump an episode so you could start talking about it last week.
I do. I like this brand. I like this brand. Somebody else in this office likes this brand a lot.
Look, so when I was learning about these vessels, about boats in general, this brand was one of the ones that actually made me stop and say, "Oh, that's nice," right? Where, you know, because there's so many types of boats that when you find one that really just hits your style, you have to stop.
Exactly. So the brand that we're talking about is Palm Beach. Palm Beach was founded in 1995 by Mark Richards, who is a very accomplished championship sailor, and he actually wanted to design a powerboat that was for the sailman or the sailor. Sailman, that's not a word.
Yeah, you said it and I'm like, yachtsman, sailor.
No,
put your hands together, baby.
Sailor. I'm losing my mind these days. Okay, it's bad. But he developed a boat. His very first boat was the PB-38.
That's the one that he drew by hand, right?
Yeah, that's the 2D drawing that he had.
Yeah.
Right, and built 4 boats, which he sold immediately.
Yeah.
And realized, I've got something here. And just to let you know, Palm Beach does not stand for
the Florida city
or the island in Florida.
Or the island in Florida, right?
Yep.
Which is, I think, what a lot of Floridians would assume. But really, it's a section.
It's a peninsula.
In
northern Australia.
Right. Over by Sydney, right?
Over by Sydney. That is correct.
Sydney. Yes.
So these boats are absolutely incredible. Just the styling cues of them, the variable dynamics of the hull, the carbon fiber and parts of it, very lightweight, very efficient, just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, you can't knock one of these boats.
Yeah, so the lightweight comes from the carbon fiber construction. And then the design, given that he has sailing experience, is really what helps elevate this style.
And also provides for a lot of performance aspects.
Exactly.
So the brand is so popular now that last June he announced the PB-85, so an 85-foot yacht for a Palm Beach, which is absolutely going to be amazing. Can't wait to see it. And it's just everything about it, from the convex hull to the carbon fiber to the design cues. This is absolutely, to me, elegant. It's like a pretty woman in a dress. So, love Palm Beach. Now, moving on, because the story gets even more interesting.
The story or the plot thickens. Okay.
Right? So the next one we're going to talk about is another Australian builder, right? And that's going to be Grand Banks. Now, Grand Banks was founded in 1965. By the Newton family, and their first boat was the GB-36.
Now, at the time, they were expats living in Hong Kong, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So the GB-36 will go on to become one of the most iconic boat models of all time, with more than 1,000 of them sold. This is where it gets interesting. In 2014, Grand Banks found new blood when the accomplished sailor and founder of Palm Beach Motor Yachts, Mark Richards, took the helm. So they merged, and now Mark Richards oversees Palm Beach and Grand Banks. And you can just, it's great for Grand Banks. I mean, to have such a great leader at the helm is stupendous, because obviously he's done a phenomenal job with the Palm Beach brand, and now he's doing the same thing with Grand Banks. And Grand Banks has got some really, really, really cool things coming up. We can't talk about them just yet, But in an upcoming issue of our magazine, we're going to feature some of this.
The next manufacturer we're going to talk about is Horizon Yachts. Now, this company started in 1987. It's based in Taiwan, and they are the leading, I want to read this properly, the leading Asian yacht brand in the luxury yacht market.
Correct.
Right? They have a lot of accolades, which speaks to essentially the quality of the vessels that they're producing for the consumer. Now, one thing that sticks out with Horizon Yachts is the craftsmanship. It is quite literally sophisticated craftsmanship. Their build process is also something that is, I would say, superior. The techniques that they use is really superior build techniques.
They employ a lot of technology.
Yes,
Right.
And I think they're very big on that.
Correct. They're very big on the technology. They're very big on developing new techniques, new different designs, right? We recently saw a new design of theirs that we talked about in an episode, B77.
Yeah.
Right? And that's got a very unique look to it, but as well as a very unique transom that drops down,
Yes.
right, for the fishing. So these boats that they're building are unbelievable, very popular, especially in the charter market.
Yep.
And they are high quality.
Right. And if you're looking at them kind of wondering, okay, well, what size vessels do they build? They build between 50 feet and 150 feet vessels. So quite literally from something that you could use, to go cruising nearby to a super yacht. And that really, again, speaks to their build techniques and how they're able to manufacture all of these different sizes and still be, for 14 years, the best Asian motor yacht builder, right? That's an award that they've won 14 years in a row.
That's correct.
It's incredible to think about how one company can produce that much success.
It is. It is. They are stunning. And they're just unbelievably great Asian quality, and working with their team is always a lot of fun too. And they build everything. They've got a big range of stuff that they build and high quality. Let's move on to the number 4 for
Which
today's
is
episode.
a historic brand. Started in 1842 in Italy, Riva. What I like about the history of Riva is that they started off building many vessels, but they became known for the racing boats. And that's kind of how their name really became well known within the boating industry, was racing boats. And then they became popular with celebrities and royalty, and in the 50s and 60s as they started
Dolce Vita lifestyle in Italy.
Exactly. They started to revamp and embrace that, and the company has just become quite literally one of the iconic brands in the industry.
It is. I can tell you right now that I can spot a classic Riva from a mile away. Like, it's very easy. I think that they're absolutely stunning boats, from that era all the way into today's era. They're still building a boat that is absolutely stunning. They build yachts now north of 100 feet and still have the same passion for performance with them,
Right.
which is incredible.
Right.
So imagine being on some of their 80-foot yachts and moving along at a good clip.
Right.
And it's impressive.
It stayed as part of the company culture in the product that they produce.
Absolutely. And now Riva is owned by the Ferretti Group, right? Which has done a phenomenal job with them. Bring them into the Ferretti program. Build quality is impeccable when you get on one. My hat's off to Riva. And if anybody would like to donate a classic Riva to me, just can't afford one with a little kid.
I was going to say,
maybe when I retire, never.
They're a pretty penny. Yeah. All right, so let's transition to the last manufacturer that we're going to touch on.
Right. So we will finish with a Finnish brand.
That's right. Yes.
So had to bring in, we've talked about some Asian brands. We've talked about Australian brands.
European brands. UK to Italy.
Well, Finnish is really European, but let's not go there. It's Scandinavian. There's a lot of Scandinavian brands out there now. We're going to talk about one in an upcoming episode with a Wendy. This one, the Axopar, which is very widely known now here in the United States.
And given that it's only a decade old, right? It's considered a young company in boating. It has performed so well, not just the vessel itself, but the company. They've really gone above and beyond. They're favored as the chase boats and regattas worldwide.
Correct.
Right? And that speaks highly to the quality vessel.
quality vessel, how it performs is a huge aspect with that.
Yeah. There's also a low cost of ownership because of the way they go about the build and how they have the interchangeability between.
So yeah, it's kind of like they stole some of the ideas from the automakers of how to mix and match components, how to carry components through an entire line of boats.
That's right.
Right? So their overhead is very low.
But it's not just their overhead that's low. It's your cost of ownership that's low.
It's your cost of ownership
so
that's
much
low.
Easier.
And that's what I was going to say is because their overhead is low, they pass it along to the consumer. And that also means that maintenance, because parts are more readily available. Your part's not specific just to your model.
Right.
Your part might be specific across a wide range of models.
That's right.
So it's going to be a lot easier to get, meaning that the price of those replacement parts is going to be much less.
Right.
Which is excellent. Right. And that's why a lot of people have gone to these. And it's interesting. I mean, you can notice that's an Axopar.
Yeah.
From across the way. You can be across the bay or across the intercoastal or on the beach looking out and go, that's an Axopar.
Now, Axopars, you're going to find them in the range of 22 to 45 feet.
Correct.
And they're you know that they perform well because they have great running holes. And when you think about that, they have great running holes. They're favored as chase boats. Being in the area, being Scandinavian, they have to deal with different types of weather where, I mean, it can be rough. You're getting a vessel that is meant to protect you from the elements, right? But at the same time, meant to perform as you pass through the elements. So I think it's a really, really interesting brand, especially since they've done this in such a short time. It just blows my mind. It really blows my mind.
A decade.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for achieving so much within a short time period.
Yes.
And bringing us a high quality boat.
Yes.
That we can, that opened up a bigger section of the market to more people. Right.
And that people love. Like once you ride in one, you tend to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always in for somebody that's going to open up the market for some people that didn't think they could be in that section of the market.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. That's pretty cool.
Now, that's 10 vessels.
That's 10 vessels.
Or 10 brands that we've covered. Right.
So that's 10 brands that we've covered out of the International Boat Builders issue. There is over 30 that we featured in this issue. So please go online, read the issue. If you have it in your mailbox, read the issue. There's a lot of different boat brands in here, but it's got a little bit of information about each brand, which may be helpful for you if you're deciding or if you're looking at a new boat to understand a little bit of the history of these companies.
That's right.
I mean, to me, it matters. For you, maybe it's the same thing. Take a look at the issue, read the issue, go through, hit us in the comments, let us know what you think. But until next time, I'm James Anderson.
I'm Ian Sneed. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting you to say until next time and then your names. And then our names. I would have expected our names and then like until next time.
Oh, because I changed it up?
You did. So you're like, until next time. I was like, sweet, we're done. I'm James Anderson. I'm Ian Sneed. Let's kick this off.
You want me to start my timer?
If you want, if it helps you. We have that one like within eyesight.
I know. I'm doubling down in case your phone battery dies or something.
Oh, that's fair. Even though it's like fully charged. But all
right, let's go. Are you going to do your intro or
That's
what?
That's literally what I was going to do. And then I stopped because you're staring at me.